Welcome to another interesting video with fun and unknown facts. Hope you will enjoy the video. Let's get started.
Please do subscribe for more videos and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You might be aware that basketball was created by James Naismith in 1891. But did you know that the game was invented because he was just looking for ways on how he could keep his class busy on a rainy day? In the early days of basketball, the color of most balls used was brown. But today, it is more common to see an orange basketball. Spalding was the first company to produce a basketball, and since 1983, they are providing the official NBA game ball. The very first basketball game took place in 1892. During that time, the court was just half the size of the basketball courts we see today. That game was played for only 30 minutes, and only 1 point was scored in the match. A soccer ball was used to play the first basketball games until a basketball was invented in 1929. A backboard was added to the basketball game because the audience in the balcony used to interfere by handling the ball during the game. It's because the early basketball hoops were nailed to the mezzanine balcony of the court. Back in the early 1900s, players played basketball in cages of chicken wire and mesh. That is to keep them from falling into spectator seats. During the intense games, the basketball players would often get injured. The first basketball hoops that were used are peach baskets with a closed bottom. It means that the officials needed to get the ball out after each basket. The first basketball string nets were introduced in the early 1900s. Dribbling the ball was not a large part of the basketball game before. This means that players were allowed to catch the ball, take a few steps to slow down, stop, and throw the ball from that spot. However, when modern basketball was invented in the 1950s, dribbling became a critical part of the game. Did you know that a warm basketball is bouncier compared to a cold one? It's because the molecules in a warm basketball hit its inside surface at a much higher speed. Before 1923, basketball teams were allowed to choose who would shoot a free throw in their team after a foul rather than the player who was fouled. Basketball was made an official Olympic game in 1936 in Berlin, Germany. Some basketball players exaggerate their fall after being hit. This action is to convince the referees that they were fouled, and it is called a flop. In the early days of basketball, when a ball landed out of bounds, the referee would toss it down the court, and the first team to touch it gets the possession. However, this led to players getting injured. In 1913, the rule was changed to make the game much safer. Today, when the ball goes out of bounds, the team that touched it last loses the possession of the ball. When basketball was first invented, there were different rules when it comes to the number of players allowed on the court. There was a time when 9 players are required for each team, based on the standard number of players on a baseball team. In 1897, it was finally established that 5 players per side should be the rule to follow. In a North Korean basketball game, a dunk is equivalent to 3 points, 4 points for a three-pointer that does not touch the rim, and 8 points for a basket in the final 3 seconds. And if a free throw is missed, that means -1 point. According to the International Basketball Federation, or IBF, the basketball should bounce between 3.9 feet and 4.6 feet, measured from the top of the ball. When dropped from 5.9 feet, the ball must reach this height. Vanderbilt University was the first ever college basketball team. The team was created by the university in less than 2 years after the game of basketball was invented. Their first basketball games were against the local YMCA. Basketball is the second most popular sport in the world next to soccer. It has more than 1 billion fans watching and playing all over the world. Even though basketball is popularly an American sport, the first ever pro game was held in Toronto, Canada, in 1946. Thanks for watching.
Please do subscribe for more videos.